What's up guys, MJ back again, and today I am here with Paxley, and we're going to be talking about 5 differences between kindergarten here in Germany and kindergarten in the US. Make sure you stay tuned to the end because Paxley is going to be sharing with you her least and most favorite thing about kindergarten here in Germany. Alright, Pax will be back at the end to share her least and most favorite things about kindergarten here in Germany. Now we're going to get into 5 differences between kindergarten here and kindergarten in America. As we get started though, I just want to say that this is not a judgment of which system is better, whether it's better to have kindergarten the way the Americans do or kindergarten the way they do here in Germany. It is not about being better or worse, it is about recognizing some of the differences and letting you know the differences that we've observed in our time here in Germany. The first major difference we noticed was the age of the children here in kindergarten. So in the US, kindergarten is actually part of the normal school system. It is part of elementary school. Here in Germany, Grundschule starts with erste Klasse, first class. In America, elementary school starts with kindergarten and then first grade, second grade, and so on. Kindergarten here is not part of the school requirement, so you don't actually have to send your kids to kindergarten. In America, kindergarten is part of the required school system, so your kid does have to be in kindergarten. The age for kids to go to kindergarten in America is typically 5 or 6, or kids that turn 6 within the school year. That is pretty standard across all the different states that we've lived in and everything I've learned about the education system in America. Here in the kindergarten, it actually has a lot more similarities with preschool, being that there are kids from all different ages. Now, the littler ones, the babies and toddlers, are separate from the actual kindergarten. But in Paxley's kindergarten, there were kids that were 3 years old, 4 years old, 5, 6, and up to actually even 7 years old in some of the kindergartens here in Germany. So the age range is much different than what you'd find in America. Here in Germany, I've heard that you actually have the choice whether you want to keep your kid in kindergarten for an extra year before sending them into the Grundschule if you feel like they're not ready or anything like that. So sometimes parents will choose to keep their kid in kindergarten 1 more year so that they're more prepared to get into the school system. So yeah, the age range that you'll find in kindergarten here is much different. It's a much bigger range than what you find in an American school system. Second on the list is dirt. The kids in the kindergarten and the kindergarten play here in Germany is a much more dirty experience. They have a lot more outside play. They play in the dirt, they play in the mud, they play in the sand, and they get covered in it. And it's awesome. It's fun. The kids love it. It is not a bad thing. But because kindergarten in America is part of the regular school system, there is not that kind of play. There is not the getting covered in mud and dirt and things like that. It is completely different. So here, when Pax is out at her kindergarten with their friends, they spend a lot of time outside and they are just free to dig and play and roll around in the mud and things like that. They have water play time and things like that. In our video about some of the small things we love about Germany, Matschhose was one of those things, those mud pants. You can find that video up here, or I'll link it down in the description below. And one of those small things we loved about life here in Germany was Matschhose and the ability to have pants to just cover everything. You can go out and play and things like that. But even when they're not wearing Matschhose, like in the warmer weather and things like that, they are just free to play and get dirty and get grimy and muddy. And it is totally fun for them. As a parent, if my kid went to kindergarten in America and just like came home all just covered and filled with mud, I'd be like, what are they doing there? It is totally different. A lot of fun for the kids. They love being able to play out there and get dirty and just be kids. And that's a really cool thing, is that they're just going to be kids and be dirty. And who doesn't like getting covered in a little dirt now and then? So next up on the list is privacy. And this ties in a little bit to the dirty aspect of playing in the kindergarten here. Sometimes, especially on the water play days, the kids will just be, stripped down a lot of times just to their underwear and things like that, getting muddy, playing. Some of the kids have bathing suits on, but it's part of the play, part of the water play, sometimes the mud and dirt play and things like that, where they're just out there in their underwear, playing, having fun, and just hanging out. And that's something you would never see in an American school. You never see kids stripped down to the underwear just playing and having fun. It's just different. And then they're in their underwear, and then they get hosed off and cleaned off once they're done being muddy. So they do help take care of the dirt before sending the kids home, which I certainly appreciate. And then sometimes when they're done with their dirt play, when they're done with their water play, when they're coming back inside, they'll just change into their clean clothes. And sometimes they're changing in areas that are visible to other people. And so kids will just be not dressed and getting dressed in the visibility of other people, other kids, teachers. That's something that I think in America that would be really, really unusual, especially at the kindergarten level and above. I think in like the younger levels, the preschools, especially when you're dealing with potty training and all that, like, yes, sometimes the teachers will see the kids naked as they're, helping them get cleaned up from an accident or something like that, whatever it is. But here it seems just kind of a lot more casual, a lot more common. And that's kind of true in Germany in general. We notice, especially as the weather gets hotter, one of the things I do love is that the fountains throughout the city are, for the most part, free to go in. So when it's a really hot day, families kind of go to one of the fountain areas, just in the middle of a park or playground, or out in the streets in the city, really. And kids will just be playing in the water. And some of the younger kids are just stripped fully down, naked, playing in the water, having a good time. And it's not a big deal, but definitely something that's totally different. So again, some of that carries over into the kindergarten where, just changing your clothes and getting dressed in the clean clothes and getting hosed off and things like that isn't a big deal. In the US, you just never see those things happening in a kindergarten. In addition to that too, the bathrooms here in the kindergartens are a little bit different, especially when I think about German bathrooms in general and the privacy and how I like that for the most part, German bathrooms are more private than American bathrooms in a public setting. But the bathrooms in the kindergarten have no doors. So when kids are going potty, they're just right there going potty. Other people can walk by, other kids can walk by, teachers, and they're just going potty. So a little less privacy in that kind of area. Again, it's kind of, I think, part of a cultural thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just not thought of as a really big deal. It's just kids being kids, getting dirty, getting clean, getting changed. And I think even for adults, there's aspects of nudity that are very different than what you'd perceive in the US. Even here at the beaches, adults would just be fully naked in some cases, or, even if they're wearing a bathing suit, they'll just change right in the middle of the beach. And that's not a big deal. It's just a different perception on that topic. Number 4 on the list is actually the independence of the children. So the way the kindergarten is set up, and Paxley in particular, this might not hold true across all kindergartens. So again, my commentary is only our experience and never a broad generalization across the entire country. But in Paxley's kindergarten in particular, there's a lot of freedom of movement. So the kids can go in and out of different rooms, different kind of art rooms or building rooms or playrooms or library rooms, and outside playing, things like that. There's a lot more freedom for what they can do. They can choose to kind of be in different areas. They can choose to be playing outside. So again, there's freedom in that choice of what they want to do, and there's not always direct adult supervision. In the kindergarten in the US, because it's but because it's part of the regular school system, there's constant adult supervision and constant guidance through different activities. Now, there is some free time for play, recess, and things like that, and activity time and things like that. So there is some choice and some free time. It's not 100% structured the entire day through, but it is a lot more structured than the complete lack of structure here in the kindergarten that Paxley was in. There is, again, a lot of positives to it, and I think there are some types of schooling in America that are more similar to the kindergarten here. But our experience with our other 3 kids who went to kindergarten in America was a lot more structure, a lot more cohesiveness throughout the day of what they're going to be doing, things like that. And again, that more direct supervision from the teachers. So that was another big difference, is the freedom and the independence that the kids have. Number 5 on the list is the difference in academic mindset in a kindergarten here versus kindergarten in the US. In the US, kindergarten is a lot more focused on that academic preparation. Yes, it's part of the regular school, but it is that entry level part of an elementary school in America. And it's what gets kids ready to move up into the school system. So they're learning more and they're learning how to learn. And there is a lot of actual academic education presented in a kindergarten in America. Here, it's a lot more focused on the social preparation and the social interaction between the kids, and the kids learning how to interact with each other, how to interact with teachers. It's a lot more focused on the soft skills instead of those academic skills. In the US, I think they try to do both in kindergarten, where they do focus on some academics and, learning counting and letters and numbers and colors and all the basics that will help them education-wise. But there is also that learning how to interact with other students, interact with teachers, and how to improve those soft skills. I think in most cases, at least in our experience, the US tries to balance between the academic skills and the soft skills. We're here in Germany, it's a lot more focused on those soft skills and those social interactions than it would be in the US. It is not Better, it is not worse, it is just different. Paxley has loved her time in kindergarten. She was super sad when it was her last day of kindergarten. She was like, no. She really wanted to keep going, but it is summer break and then it is time to get into the Grundschule. So Paxley loved being in kindergarten. She loved hanging out with her friends. She loved her teachers. So yes, it was not the academic learning that we're used to in the US, but it was certainly worth it for her to be there. We were so excited that we were finally able to get Paxley into a kindergarten. It took a long time to do it, but when we finally did, it was such a great experience for her. Yes, there were all these differences, and no, it did not make her experience worse than it would be in the US. It was just totally different. For her, it was great. She had great social interaction. She made great friends. She loved her teachers. She got a lot of interaction in German, and so her German language skills have drastically improved. Again, my kids are learning so much faster than me because of it, so it was an amazing experience. So that was 5 differences between kindergarten here and kindergarten in America. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like the American system better than the German system. Do you like the German system? Do you think it's too early for kids to be learning in an academic kind of sense like we do in the US? Should they play more? Should they be kids longer? Or do you think in the US, it's great to have that entry-level academic to prep you for what's coming in elementary school or Grundschule? So let me know what you think below. And now we're gonna get Paxley back here to answer those questions of her least and favorite things about kindergarten. Come on over, Pax. So Paxley, what was your least favorite thing about kindergarten here in Germany?
Falling down.
Falling down? And why was falling down your least favorite thing?
Boo-boos.
Boo-boos? Okay. Now tell us, Pax, what was your favorite thing about kindergarten here in Germany?
Playing. I really like my teachers and my friends too.
And do you think going to kindergarten helped you learn German better?
Yes.
And are you happy that you got to go to kindergarten here in Germany?
Yes.
And are you excited about going to Grundschule next year?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks so much for watching. And if you like this video, you can click up here and check out our 6 shocks about schools here in Germany.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Yes.